Hello and welcome to Mystic Visions. This is a monthly tarot reading for Cancer for the month of May. So welcome my Cancer friends and let's see what's in your reading for May. All right, so we have the Five of Wands, the Wheel, Page of Cups, the Lovers, Nine of Swords, Strength. That's the Two of Cups, the Eight of Cups, the Two of Swords, and the Knight of Coins, or Pentacles. Okay, so got a little bit of everything here. Pretty balanced reading for you. For your current situation, you have the Five of Wands, and it's in the reverse. So could be some struggles going on, some power struggles, and it may be kind of grating on you. You might not be enjoying it too much, or a little unwelcoming of these struggles. May just kind of feel tiring. It may feel as though it's breaking you down. Let's see if I can move that a little bit there. Oh, I'm moving the wrong thing. Hey, I'm moving. So the Five of Wands is really something that instead of it being or looking at it as a struggle or a conflict that's unproductive or unhealthy, you have to start to look at things as though it's part of like a healthy, complete life, right? So in your body, I don't know the exact accuracy of this, but we always were taught that about 1 out of every 10 cells in your body is actually your body. And the other 9 are little microscopic bugs, basically, or bacteria or things like that, that live on you. You're kind of like a walking zoo. And I know there's some people that just creeps them out to no end to think about, and they would instantly start wanting to put hand sanitizer on themselves and killing all those germs and trying to leave behind that 10%. But the problem is that's who you are. That those little microorganisms are responsible for everything in your body, from your digestion to your immune system functioning correctly and all that stuff. And so what you have to realize is that conflict, well, what is conflict at that one level is actually a healthy whole individual at another level. So you have to be able to embrace conflict, right? Likewise, in our natural environment, you might look at a gazelle and a lion and feel like that conflict is very unfortunate, and maybe you'd want to stop that from happening. But if you did, and the lions were not eating the gazelles would very, very quickly just reproduce out of control, and they would eviscerate the entire environment, and pick everything clean. So all of these conflicts, what seem like conflicts, it's kind of just your mentality that's bringing the negative side of that to the situation, and it really is a positive or a normal, natural thing for there to be some conflict. So it's you're being asked to kind of turn that upside down a little bit and feel a little bit more competitive rather than cutthroat, right? There's a difference. One time I said, I think on like a Facebook status, don't play the game just to win. Play the game to be invited to play the game again, right? So there's a difference there. It's a win at all cost mentality tends to alienate people from you, and also begs the question of what are you really trying to get out of life? Is it really to be the best, or do you want to be the best because of what that means to other people in a way? You know what I mean? You can say it's just you, but if that's the case, then why not just play against yourself, right? So when you're involved with other people, if there's a competition with other people, keep in mind that some things are more important than just winning, but that also means that it's important to play the game as well. You don't want to lose every time, right? So the crossing energy here is the Wheel of Fortune. and it's in the reverse as well. So again, this reinforces that idea that some things are just natural cycles. There's give and take, win and lose, and that kind of thing, and the wheel goes round. But when this is in the reverse, it can indicate you're being a little resistant to that wheel's turning, and you're wanting it to be all good and no bad, all win and no lose, or something like that. So if you have a strategy that you're approaching that is predicated on you winning the whole time or all the time, it's probably not going to be too successful. So maybe try to formulate a strategy that involves a realistic notion that you're going to win some and you're going to lose some. And that's what people in the stock market who are really successful, that's what they do. They don't plan on making a good trade every single time. They figure out a strategy that works at least more than it doesn't work. And if they can do that, then over the long run, they come out on top, right? Because you can't nail down, it's impossible to be right every single time or to never make mistakes. So you're moving away from the Page of Cups. Now, Page of Cups is a very, very bright-eyed and bushy-tailed young fella who tends to feel, I love the way it's depicted in this card because there's a little flying pig over here and it almost seems like he's just rising up. He's flying in his imagination or whatever. So there's this feeling that this energy of, some people say, well, when pigs fly, but he believes they actually could. So he's very optimistic. There's no holding him down, very hopeful. This can also mean that there was some good news or something like that. But moving away from this energy, I think it means that you're becoming a little less optimistic. You're getting maybe a little frustrated or beat down by how things have not exactly turned out the way that you wanted them to or as easy as you thought. But the good news is that you're moving toward this Lovers card. And the Lovers, people always think it involves relationship, right? The Lovers, it's very romantic and all that. And yet it can indicate romantic relationships. But more specifically, this card represents choices. And it also is meant to sort of dispel the illusion that whenever you see a couple, a really epic couple, a really, perfect couple, it's a little bit of an illusion that it's just easy for them, that they're just meant to be together, that this sort of soulmate connection works where everything's perfect and effortless. In those really, really strong relationships, it's rarely that way. But what those two people do is they make a conscious choice that they're going to work at it, and it's something that they want to do. If one of them is like, I'm okay as long as this is fun, I'll do this, then it's not going to be as strong of a relationship. So both people have to have this idea in their head, or not an idea, but a will to stick with it, to make it work, and to put work into it. So this is something that you don't have to just apply to relationships. You can take this in your life in general. If you're going to accomplish something, you're going to have to stick with it and not let go so easily. If you get discouraged by setbacks or failures, you're not going to succeed, right? I mean, yes, you could get lucky and win on your first try or something, but that's hardly ever a person's success story. When you see somebody who's wildly successful or famous or rich, it's never the case that, well, I just got lucky. No, they put in tons of work and are frustrated by failure over and over and over again until it finally begins to work out for them. And that's almost a universal thing. I mean, there's slight, every now and then there's exceptions to that, but it's rare. So you gotta devote yourself to something in order for it to work. Now, the foundation of the situation, which is kind of like, what is the universe trying to teach you through this, what you're going through, or what's the frame of the whole situation? You have the Nine of Swords in the reverse. And so, Nine of Swords is really, it's a card all about anxiety. It's about having too many thoughts in your head. And really, there's one way that you get rid of that, and it's by not necessarily thinking about it so much, right? So the Lover's card requires for you to make a choice, but you have to just sort of devote yourself to it. And sometimes it doesn't even feel like it makes any sense. There's going to be times where, like take the marriage vows, in sickness and in health, forsaking all others, right? There's times when that doesn't feel right, or it doesn't feel like something you want to do, but you have to ignore those thoughts and stick with it from your soul, from your spirit, right? From your heart. And too much thoughts or too much thinking is not going to help this situation. If you're trying to work things out or make order of the situation, it's not going to help you. It's just going to really hinder you, and it's going to cause thoughts. One piece of advice: thoughts essentially are hesitation. That's what they are, right? So you could, you think, well, I'm thinking because I want to make a better decision. I want to, get all my facts straight, and I want to make a wise and informed decision. But the thing is that you could never really think enough to make a perfect decision. It doesn't exist. I mean, you can get really, really accurate. You can get really good. You can say, well, I'm 99% confident that this is going to work. But there's always that tiny, tiny little fraction where you don't know exactly what's going to happen, right? So you could say, well, the sun's going to come up tomorrow. Well, yeah, sure, but there is some small, tiny little percentage of a chance that it might not, right? That it might burn out or blow up or something like that. So there's always a degree, and that's an extreme example, but there is always a degree of uncertainty. So what we do is not really, we don't think things through to their exact conclusion, but what we do is we kind of go through the motions of thinking, and once we're satisfied with the amount of thinking that we've put into something, we kind of make a snap judgment, right? So thinking basically is just hesitation, which is to say, I need some time to second guess myself. I need some time to reconsider whether I'm making a good decision or whether this is going to work out well. And so based on that model, there is a form of living, and quite a few people are this way, and you wouldn't think they would get very far, but it's kind of funny, they seem to, where they don't really think about anything they do. They just kind of go with it. And it turns out that's a fairly viable strategy in and of itself, even though you wouldn't think they would. But it's all just a different type of a strategy for life, is what it is. But this is asking you to kind of go with it a little bit more, go with the flow, and also devote yourself even when your mind doesn't really want to take you down that path. Now, your crowning thoughts, you have the Strength card, and it's in the reverse. Strength represents, this isn't so much a physical strength, this is more of an inner strength or willpower. And there's often a depiction of a delicate, small female who's got her hands around like a lion's mouth. And the lion could easily devour her and just kill her instantly. But it doesn't, because she's projecting this sort of strength. The lion is not afraid of anybody. He's king of the jungle, right? Or king of the plains in Africa, I guess, to be more specific. But he doesn't really have any predators. Everything else is his prey. So if something is afraid of him, he instantaneously knows, I can eat that. That's my prey. But when this delicate young little girl comes up to the lion and basically is not at all afraid, he thinks, well, she must be my equal, right? She must be just like me, because she's not afraid. She's not running. And now I'm, of course, not condoning going up to a lion in real life and just thinking that it's going to work out. But the metaphor is to say that inner willpower is extremely powerful, and it grants you protection and power in ways that you wouldn't have normally thought about at first. Now, you have this in the reverse in your crowning thoughts, which means that you're feeling a little less powerful than you want to. You're feeling like you're you don't have all these abilities that you want. You don't have the ability to do or the strength to go down the path that you've chosen. And that's the way you're feeling, but it doesn't necessarily mean that's the way it is. There's the old saying, fake it till you make it, right? So a lot of people who are very successful or are big businessmen or something like that, or women, they don't really know what they're doing, right? And in my line of work, I know this very well. Hardly anybody I work with knows what they're doing, but they have these jobs, right? And they have these jobs because they're able to effectively convince people that they do, that they know what they're doing. They have confidence, and that confidence is really what gets them what they want. So think a little bit about how confidence might be your ally in this situation rather than raw ability or feeling like you're equipped to handle a situation, because nobody knows how to do a job the first time they're hired for it. They have to learn it, right? They have to be trained. Same kind of deal here. You're not going to know ahead of time how to do something. You're going to have to learn it. So just have the confidence that you're willing to figure it out, you're willing to learn it, and that you know you can. You know you can change and develop and be for the better. That's what people really look for, is can you change yourself? Because so many people can't. So many people cannot rise above themselves. They're stuck mentally in the box that they were born in. So what people want is, can you get out of that box? Can you think outside of the box, right? Now your advice is the Two of Cups in the reverse. So Two of Cups, you know, it's probably the most romantically involved card in the deck. I would say even more so than the Lovers. This one you generally I look at as a personal relationship card, much more than others. Now, it's not always, and in the advice card, maybe it's not. But what we have here is a harmonious and balanced relationship. And what this is saying in the advice, this being in the reverse, means there's a little lack of balance or something that's going on here. There's a little bit of a problem where perhaps someone's worse qualities are in excess and it's rubbing off on you, or maybe you're going through some stress at home and you're taking that into your job, your workplace with you, or something like that, right? So there's, in some area of your life, things are out of focus, out of balance a little bit, and that's somehow affecting the rest of your life. So what your advice for the situation is find a way to bring those things into balance. There's potential here for a tremendous balance, for a synergistic relationship. But for whatever reason, things have just been kind of like knocked out of alignment. So get all of those parts of your life in alignment, and everything else will sort of tend to fall into place a little easier. So don't think of it as just a nuisance or something that's distracting you. Think of it as something that actually needs attention and needs to be addressed. So your environment is the Eight of Cups in the reverse. So around you, somebody, there's a need for some withdrawal, for some alone time, and somebody's not getting that. They're not, they want to go off on their own. They want to, do something else or be somewhere else, but they're not doing that. And they need, it's kind of like they need a vacation is what it is. So look for a way to possibly give somebody a break. And that might not be first nature to you. You may feel like they don't deserve a break or something, but they're feeling like they do. And as long as they feel that way, you're not going to convince them that it's not the case, right? So see if there's someone in your surroundings or someone near you who really could use you to take on a little bit of an extra load. And if it's not something that puts you out quite too much, maybe just volunteer that, and that could very greatly benefit you in the long run, even if it doesn't in the short run, right? Just do somebody a favor. Now, what we have for your fears card is the Two of Swords. This represents not really knowing which way to go. or not having a clear vision about what to do, being a little bit uncomfortable with ambiguity, or not knowing where an attack might come from, right? There's like a little bit of a fear or an anxiety that people are out to get you, or that um, you're going to be presented with something that you don't know how to handle. And you got to get over that, because that's, faith. That's what faith really is about. People like to interchange faith and belief. Belief is, I know how it's going to work out, right? And faith is, I'll be able to make my way through it regardless of how it works out. I'm just going to keep moving. And if I die, well, I die. I couldn't have done anything about it, but I'm not going to try. You know what I mean? But I think it was Walt Disney that said, if you've done everything you can, there's no reason to worry, right? So that's what that's about, is you got to put in the effort. You got to try to do things. And if you fail, well, you get back on the horse and you try again, right? Fall down 7 times, stand up 8. Okay, so the overall message for you here is this Knight of Coins, or Knight of Pentacles. This one is an indication of, your long-term direction, or what you're going through. Really summarizes your energy here. And we have the Knight of Pentacles. So knights are very determined. They are in motion. They're going a particular direction. They're not the page, right? The page is the child. He hasn't really started off on the journey quite yet, but he's about to. And then the knight is a little bit more matured and has a little bit more of a hardened attitude and mentality, right? Now, in this case, it's about financial success. So that tends to be, I think, what your primary focus is in this situation that you're in here. But not necessarily just financial. It could also be physical, material. You might want to have a nice house, or a physical relationship even. So there is a physical dimension where you're on a journey to have that particular aspect of your life fulfilled. Be financially independent, well off, or successful. And you can have blinders on a little bit and be focusing on that to the detriment of other aspects of your life. So it's a reminder, I think, this whole reading, to keep all of the different aspects of your life in focus, and not to get too hung up on just one particular goal or idea or thing, something that you're seeking after. Because it's just kind of the way that the universe is. You've got to juggle all these things, because everything is sort of a metaphor for something that's going on within your psyche, within your subconscious. So if you're ignoring certain aspects of your life, then there's an imbalanced approach to everything that you do. So you have to be able to have a holistic approach to whatever you do for maximal success, right? So that's about it for your reading today, my Cancer friends. So thank you very much for joining. And again, please leave me some comments. Let me know what you thought about the reading, or if it resonated or if it didn't. And subscribe if you have not already. And thank you for watching, and we'll see you next month.